What's going on, world? It's your main man, Grieve, Rashid, the voice, and your host of Clearing the Wreckage. Yes, we got another great episode in store for you today. Once again, I don't know if you are driving to work, but all I ask is that you please pay attention to the road. You could be at work on a lunch break trying to get a quick sneak peek into this episode. Just please make sure you clock back into work on time. And you could be doing one of the most important things, to me at least, and that is on the toilet. Just make sure you flush. Yes. What's going on today with you, my wreckage clearers? That is you, and we are a community. We support one another, and we are here to clear the wreckage. Yes, indeed. So first off, as always, thank you so much for listening to Clearing the Wreckage podcast. I am so excited to have you here with me on this journey. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for accepting my invitation to listen to all of my havoc, destruction, aka wreckage. But you're also here to listen and respond to how I am clearing all of that wreckage. Today, well, what we gonna talk about today, Kareem? Well, you know, as usual, we are about clearing the wreckage here on this podcast. I have a few questions for the community of wreckage clearers here. I have a couple of questions, just a couple, before we start this conversation off. You know, I got to get you to kind of think a little bit. So that way, while I'm sharing this story with you, you could be thinking about those questions. Do you have a hard time with guilt or shame? Do you feel out of sorts sometimes where you may not know exactly who you are? Well, I want to say this to you. You are not alone, because a lot of us, especially as humans, struggle with our identity. We think that our identity is this thing that our parents told us. This is who you are. We were brought up with morals and structure and all these things of right and wrong and what to do, what not to do, what to say, what not to say, how to be and how not to be. Go to school, graduate, go to college, get a career. Some of our identities are wrapped up in what our parents said about us. This is what you're supposed to do. Some of us, our identity is wrapped up in society. This is the way that you're going to need to go in order to be successful. Success is this, fill in the blank. Success is making $1 million. Success is having a career where you gain over $100,000 a year. Success is having the beautiful, luxurious car, having the marriage with the white picket fence. Success is all of those things in someone else's eyes. Oh, you know what, Kareem? You're too loud. Be quiet. Don't be so loud. Your voice projects so much. That is not how you need to be when you go out into the world. Young lady, this is how you are supposed to dress. Young man, you are not allowed to show your emotions. You are supposed to suppress them. Don't let anyone see you sweat. Don't let anyone see you cry. We're told all of these things by our parental figures. And then we go out into the world to school. We're taught all of these things by the education system. What is our identity? What is it? Do we even know? Do we even have a clue of who we really are? Well, I can tell you that I had no idea who I was. No freaking clue. The title of this episode is called The Death of My Old Identity. Last week, we talked about a story of me meeting the girl of my dreams and then I left that episode off with telling you that she left me again. Feeling abandoned, feeling lost, feeling confused. So how about we just pick up from where we left off? My fiance left me after I had proposed to her. The proposal was around January 2015. She left me, or maybe I should just say that she was taken away, because she didn't necessarily leave me intentionally. She was taken away around the end or middle of February 2015. From that point, I was without a girlfriend, a fiance, my rock, my best friend. This was the girl who stuck by my side through it all. This was the girl that I just explained to you on the last episode, who stuck by me after me getting her kicked out of her mother's house, coming to my mother's house to stay with me, and going to the woods to stay with me. We've been through it all together. We had this connection that I thought was built to last forever because we have been through hell with one another. How can we not reach heaven? So I thought to myself when she was taken away, this cannot be happening to me again. There must have been some mistake, because I know that I am not being abandoned again. I prayed. Please do not let this happen. I could not accept what had just happened right in front of my very eyes. The story goes a little like this. And let me throw this disclaimer out there real quick, because I need you to know, as I said on the last episode, anyone that is in these episodes coming up, I am not frowning upon them. I am not defaming their character. I am not discrediting them. I am simply telling and sharing my journey, my story, and this person just happens to be in it. Imagine you're reading a book, and I'm the main character, and there's other characters in there. That's how this is going, right? All right. So we got that out the way. Okay, so intentionally, my intentions are good. In other words, the story goes a little like this. I took her to go see her PO. And I walked out of that office by myself. That's the story. That's it. That's all you need to know. That's it. And I was devastated. And I was like, this can't be real. This is not my reality right now. I know good and well that I did not just walk out of this office by myself after receiving a kiss before she went in to see the PO. You mean to tell me that's the last kiss I'm going to receive from this woman? That was my thought process. I know good and well this is not happening to me. What's one of the stages of grief, or the stages of death when it comes to grief? Denial. Denial. Yep. That's the river I was floating in. I was wailing Egypt somewhere, escaping reality, not willing to face it. No. Let's just vacay, go on vacation, go inner tubing down this river of denial. I'm sure everybody got that joke, the Nile River, anyway. But I remember praying and even bargaining with God also. Truthfully, I felt guilty. I felt guilty for all the wreckage that I caused in that relationship. See, if you remember what I just shared with you on the last episode, I got her kicked out of her house. I got her involved more into drinking and drugging and using drugs. I got her involved in that lifestyle. Because if she was going to be with me, she had to be able to hang with me. I manipulated her. I convinced her into doing and living the life that I was living. None of this was on her. None of this was her wreckage. It was all mine. I felt completely guilty. So I kept bargaining, and I said, God, please bring her back to me. I'm doing the right thing now. I'm sober. I'm clean. If you just bring her back, I promise I will help her stay sober. I will bring her to you. I'll make us into a couple who prays together, who goes to church together, all of that. Just come on, God, please. Why are you doing this to me? I promise, God, I promise that if you just bring her back to me, I won't have sex with her again until I marry her. These were the prayers, the bargaining that I tried to manipulate the Almighty with. And then I got a call about her not returning And I said, no, I went right back to denial. No, this isn't real. This cannot be happening to me. Then I went straight to anger. Mad at God, mad at her, mad at everyone. I begin to question why. I don't like this. This is not right. Why do people always leave me? No one never stays. Something happens to where someone leaves me. Am I not worth anybody staying? I must be not worthy of love. Because people either get taken away from me or they leave. I am deserving of nothing. My anger led to me isolating, which led to sadness, which led to depression. And that lasted for a while. Of me feeling very low about myself. Brings you back to the episode of last week, lack of self-worth. I'm having all these questions about my identity. Am I so unlovable that no one wants to stay with me? The depression led me going back to my childhood and asking questions. It must be true that I'm that unlovable because, hell, my parents didn't even stay together. That was my fault. I started blaming myself. Started thinking that I must be a burden to everyone around me. I'm a no good person because no one wants to put up with Kareem. Then I got more depressed because I didn't understand why this was happening, because now I turned my life around. I'm sober. I'm clean. I don't understand. I'm not drinking. I'm not going and using drugs. Why do things like this continue to happen to me and I'm left alone? So after a while, I finally accepted it. I got to the stage of acceptance. I ended up going back to church. However, to be honest, I was just taking up a seat. I was only taking up a seat. Because yes, I accepted the fact that I wouldn't see her until March 2017. But something about me could not accept me. I did not know who I really was. My identity was wrapped up in church, wrapped up in religion, so much that I just thought that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Go to church every Sunday, every Wednesday, Hell, as long as I'm there, I'm not going to burn in hell, at least. Even though I feel like I'm already in hell, I followed the rules. As long as I follow these rules, I'll be fine. Plus, this is what everyone wants me to do. Codependency, people pleasing was my identity. As you know from the last episode, we talked about codependency. I was the youngest in my family. I got told what to do all the time. I did not have a voice. I did whatever I was told by my older siblings. Later on in life, whatever authority figure came around, yes sir, yes ma'am, I did what I was told to do. Why am I still being punished? Those were my thoughts. Everyone is happy, right? As long as Kareem follows suit. But I still am being punished. Shame, guilt followed me. My fiance at the time kept encouraging me through her letters to go back to church. Everyone who pretty much was attending the same church wanted me to come back. And some of the things that I was being told, as I shared with you on the last episode, to me was not the way to deal with someone who was going through depression. But because I didn't want to hurt anyone, I didn't want to ruffle any feathers, I didn't want anybody looking at me any differently, I followed suit. I went. No self-worth, no sense of value in myself to stand up for what Kareem wants. Do you feel that way sometimes? Do you maybe feel that you walk around doing whatever everyone else wants you to do, as long as they're happy, and you lose yourself in people? Well, I'm raising my hand if you can see me on YouTube. I lost myself in her. I lost myself, the self that I never really had. I placed it in that relationship with her. Maybe that's why I was so devastated when she left. And maybe, just maybe, if we go all the way back to little Kareem, who placed his identity in his parents, in his siblings, maybe that's why I felt devastated when, oh, my older sister is gone. She didn't leave me on purpose. She just happened to be a lot older than me. So she left the house. I've shared this with you. By the time I reached age 4, she was 18. She graduated high school. She was gone. I shared with you how so forth and so on it trickled down with the rest of the siblings, and then I eventually was by myself. Maybe that's why it was so devastating, because I did not know who I was. My identity was so wrapped up in other people, places, and things that Kareem was nowhere to be found. He was lost. Meanwhile, I was going back to therapy. My therapist was telling me and reassuring me of who I was. She saw who I was. Let me just stop right there. Are you one of the type of people that you have friends, you have people in your life that are, they know you. They tell you exactly who you are. I'm talking about the good stuff about you. They tell you exactly who you are, but you're so soaked up in what everybody else thinks about you because you have no self-worth. I'm just going to tell you the truth. And with that, they can tell you all these great, you are so generous. You're so kind. You're so loving. And you will take those words and you will flip it in your head. In your own mind, you will go, no, I'm really not. They don't really know me. I'm not kind. I'm not generous. I'm not loving. It's time to clear the wreckage, because if you feel that way and that stuff goes all the way back to how those authority figures in your life spoke to you. Parental, grandparental, how they spoke to you, how they dealt with you, how they related to you, is probably most likely how you relate to yourself. And that was me. I love my dad so much. I love him so much. I'm very, very, very thankful for my father. I'm grateful that I was raised by him, that I had an opportunity to stay with my dad during some very formative years that I needed to have a father figure in my life. He was there. And for that, I'm forever grateful. And me and my father now have an amazing relationship. Why? Because I've cleared the wreckage, and I'm continually clearing the wreckage in order to build a great relationship, in order to build great memories, in order to have those conversations that I may need to have with my dad. When I was growing up, my father had a stepfather actually, who berated him, degraded him, and that was passed down. And you know what? It wasn't passed down that much. Because when my father told me stories about his father, I said, what? Are you serious? But I did receive the negativity, the negative words, or the condemnation. And I received a stern man speaking to me. And those stern times when my father talked, I needed that sternness. But there were some things that my father said to me that he didn't need to say to me. And I'm just speaking the truth. I mean, it is what it is, I mean, things happen when we're kids. But these are our formative years, and those parents or parental figures of ours can shape us in the way that we think about ourselves. And we begin to think that that is who we are. We don't see ourselves in the way that we need to if we have been talked down to growing up or punished or whatnot. So my therapist was telling me and reassuring me of who I really was, but all I could hear was the negative. That's because I was saying negative crap about myself all day, every day. I'm not playing with you. No sugarcoat. All day, every day, I was just saying bad things about myself. Guilt. Shame. Whenever I made a mistake as a kid, I got punished for it. Or I got disciplined for it. But those things still shape you, and the discipline was needed, per se. But like I said, some of the things that were said during the discipline, that part wasn't necessarily needed. But, however, parents will be parents, and parents will do the best that they can. They are doing the best that they know how. When there's not a manual, it's not. I know you probably think it is. Oh, there's plenty of books out there on how to parent. When you have a kid, you have no clue what you're doing. You're going to probably, most likely, repeat a cycle of how you were raised. It's just the way it is. Man, it's just the way it is. Sometimes we just got to accept reality, and then we got to clear the wreckage, whatever wreckage is there that we need to clear, own our own parts in it, because it wasn't just my parents' fault. And that is how you clear the wreckage. And so later on in life, I was able to clear the wreckage with my father, and we have an amazing relationship. Forgiveness, it heals, let me tell you. It heals the inside of your bones. It heals your heart. It helps you have joy. It takes away the anxiety. It also clears that wreckage out so much that you start beginning to realize who you really are. But guilt and shame during that time, I felt it. I felt like everything was my fault. She was taken away because of me. Even though the reality was, it had nothing to do with me. That part was truly on her. That was her wreckage that she needed to clear up. It was not my responsibility, but I made it my responsibility. I thought that, well, what if I didn't sleep with her while I was going to church and supposedly gave my life over to Jesus, none of this wouldn't happen. I'm being punished. That is how I used to think. And I thought like that. This is not a blame, and it's no one's fault. But I thought like that because of my childhood. And perfection, indeed, is what I expected of myself. Because I thought that's what everybody expects of me. Perfection. I wasn't allowed to mess up. or sin, as some people would say. I wasn't allowed to miss a Sunday of church or even a Wednesday. My attendance, just as my attendance in school, my attendance at church, you see the correlation, was expected to be perfect. My attendance at work, just like my attendance at school, my attendance at church was expected to be perfect. Do you hear me? I hope you're hearing me. Was expected to be perfect. But who really was expecting that? I was. After I take some time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear, I realize that is all on me. I wasn't drinking, I wasn't using drugs, right? So now I can't fall short in any areas of my life. And a lot of that is due to my belief system. Your identity, which I find out, my identity, how I was being shaped, was a lot had to do with the belief system that I grew up in. And remember, if you've been listening, I grew up on both sides of the coin, Islam and Christianity. Yes. So for me as a child, I was supposed to be perfect at everything, because that is how I looked at those who were religious. That's how I looked at my father. That's how I looked at my mother. That's how I looked at my grandparents, my aunties, my uncles, everybody, so forth and so on. Actually, every adult to me was perfect. And so from that point on, I am to be perfect. And that had to be my identity. And when it wasn't, I did not know who I was. And I felt guilt, shame. So I want to ask a couple of questions, because I know good and well that there is someone listening in this community that is like, oh my gosh, he's telling my story. Yes, I know that I am. But before I ask those questions, I'm going to go a little bit deeper. So that belief system, it had me in a state of perfection, in a state of trying my best to be perfect. Anything that those scriptures said, or my dad, or parents, or teachers, coaches, anybody said, or the church, I must hold fast to, or else I am going to HE double hockey sticks. I just said that'd be funny. No, but seriously, I'm going to hell if I can't be perfect. On top of that, I will be punished while I'm here on earth and go to a burning lake of fire. So the motions, the motion of attending, but my heart left the building. The motion of attending and going inside of church, being there, being present, but I really was not present. I was there for show because I had to live up to everyone's expectations. But again, as I've been clearing the wreckage, and after I cleared the wreckage of all of that, I realized it's only my expectations. It's only my standards that are extremely high. And when I can't reach them, I feel guilty. And I feel so ashamed. So let me ask you this. Do you have standards that are very high that you're trying to reach? And when you do not meet those standards, do you feel guilt? Do you feel ashamed? I want you to ask yourself that. I want you to ask yourself, say, self, do I try to live up to everyone's expectations? Well, just as long as they're happy. That's my challenge for you. Say, self, do I feel these emotions, guilt or shame, more often because someone said I shouldn't or should, and I fell short? Do I have a fear of what people think? Do I have a fear of what people say? Do I hear only the negative when someone is clearly saying positive things to me? Is my hearing selective? Well, if your answer is yes to these questions, you are not alone. Because I just shared with you that I have felt the same way. And there are millions of us that can say yes to these questions. However, we are here to clear the wreckage, and it is time to clear it. We cannot go on living how others expect us to live, because we have our own identity, but the first identity has to die. It has to die in order for you to get to who you really are. You have to grieve that identity. And once that process is done, you can shed those layers off. You can clear that wreckage. And you can come into who you really are, your true self. And you don't have to live for other people. You don't have to walk on eggshells or be in fear all the time or be anxious about everything because you're so scared of what people think. Oh, they're going to say I shouldn't say this. Say it anyway. Damn it, say it. You're going to have to die to that old identity that you never really had anyway. It's an identity that was made up by your parents. It's an identity that was made up by this world, or it's an identity that was made up by a religion or a belief system. Well, Kareem, I've been going to church all my life. I don't see nothing wrong with the church. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not saying that something's wrong with the church. What I'm saying is if you are living for the church instead of God, then maybe it's time to take some time to look inside so that wreckage can begin to clear. But you have to die first. You have to go through a grieving process. You have to, in order for that layer, in order for those layers to come off. I want you to repeat after me. You have the power to be you. I want you to repeat after me. Repeat it out loud to yourself right now. Or if you're around people and you're listening to this in AirPods or something like that, then just say it in your heart. You have the choice to be you. You have the freedom to be you. Say, I claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. I will learn who I am by taking time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear. And the last thing I want you to repeat, I am beginning to like myself. And my challenge for you is when you wake up in the morning, repeat those 6 things that I just shouted out to you. You have the power to be you. You have the choice to be you. You have the freedom to be you. I claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. I will learn who I am by taking time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear. And I am beginning to like myself. Woo, doggone it, I like myself. Yes. Grieve your old identity. Die to it. Think about those questions that I asked you earlier in the episode. I want you to journal about it. I want you to write it down. Figure it out. Take that time. Do I try to live up to everyone's expectations? When I fall short, do I feel guilt or shame? Do I feel these emotions more often because someone said I shouldn't or I should and I fall short? Or do I have fear of what people think? Do I hear only negative when someone is clearly saying positive things to me? Is my hearing selective? I want you to ask yourself these questions so that the wreckage can clear. Once again, it was great being with you and having conversation. Until next week, take some time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear. Peace.